Hello everybody, I'd like to welcome you to the channel here. I'm Greg. Just wanted to invite you to come along with me with some of the stuff that I get to do outdoors. Just tell you a little bit about myself starting off. This is a brand new channel. I'll preface this by saying I am not a YouTuber. I don't edit video. I don't like video in particular. I don't like cameras. I don't like being on camera, all those sorts of things. But I got to thinking about it, and over the last several years here, I've learned an awful lot of things about something that I love to do, hunting and fishing and those sorts of things. I've learned an awful lot from people that do just exactly what I'm about to do here, and I felt like I ought to share some of that with somebody else, kind of pass the whole thing on. So one of the things that I'm passionate about is the outdoors, and being in the outdoors and using the resources that are around us. We're really blessed, very fortunate to have the ability to go out and hunt and fish and harvest animals. And me personally, I've always been a working man. I've been able to feed my family pretty well out of the woods and out of the water. So I wanted to take you along with me and pass along a few of the things that I've learned. Like I say, I work every day. I don't have income from YouTube and those sorts of things, and I don't get to fish every day of the week and hunt every day of the week. So the little time that I have to do that, I like to take advantage of it, and some of the things that I've learned here over the last bit, I want to pass on to you. I'm here right now at a creek right across the street from my house. I live within the city limits in Southwest Virginia here, and this creek here is one of the places that I'll come and get some bait. It's just a little creek that flows into a bigger river downstream. The bait didn't cooperate with me today. Usually I'll put a minnow trap in here, and if I'm going to go do a little crappie fishing like I am later, I'll leave the trap in here for a few hours and come back and have all the free bait I can use to do that. And this is a tributary of the water that we'll be fishing in later. So the bait that I pull out of here is native to the lake in Smith Mountain Lake where we'll be fishing. But today we're going to use artificials. It's the heat of the summer. We're getting into July now. Typically it's a hard time to catch crappie. And thanks again for joining me today, and let's go see what we can catch. Out here on the Roanoke River, the top end of the lake at Smith Mountain Lake is what it is. Beautiful afternoon out here. We got about 80 degrees or so. Just too nice of a day not to come out fishing, so we're gonna give her a shot here. Probably do a little bit of crappie fishing, see what it looks like. If I find some bait schools, I may look for a bass or two just for the heck of it. Like I say, it's just too nice of a day not to be out fishing, so we'll see what we can come up with. I'm just using an ultralight 5-foot Okuma Cielo rod. This is a really nice light action rod, and an Okuma Rocks 20 reel. I'm going to be using a 32nd ounce jig to start out here, tipped with a gulp bait, a Berkeley gulp bait, and we're going to see what we can do here. There's a brush pile up ahead of me. I'm in about 20 feet of water, but there's a couple of fallen trees here, and the tree tops hang down in, so it's a place where you can a lot of times find something. We've had a little bit of rain, so it's kind of off color, but not terrible. There's one. Well, got a fish already. That did not take long. He hit it on the fall. A little black crappie. It's this one's lucky day. He's a little small and I'm not too fish hungry. I may keep a few big ones to drop off and give to a buddy down the road. But it's a good way to start off. There's another one right there. Another little crappie. A little bit bigger, but probably not keeping size. If he is hungry and needed a meal, he'd eat, but he can go back. Yeah, so this is a very simple way to fish here. As you can see, we got the trunk of a tree over here coming down in. There's a whole tree top that goes down into about 20 feet of water, and crappie will suspend around the structure. If you've tried to, there's one right there, another little guy. If you've tried to, boy, how he got that down inside of him, I have no idea. If you've tried to study up on catching crappie, you're probably pretty well aware. But they'll stack up on vertical structure like that, and they'll suspend and they'll follow the bait, because everything out there is just looking for a meal. So that's what you're going to find. And in this particular case, I'm seeing them in 7 or 8 feet of water, suspended between 15 and 20 feet is where the bottom is. And we're into another one here. This one's a little better fish. And so I'll try to show you here exactly how we're doing this. Again, it's a 32nd ounce jig with a Berkeley gulp bait on it, which Berkeley doesn't pay me. That'd be nice. Then I could quit spending money on their stuff. But the Berkeley gulp baits, I will tell you this, they just flat catch fish. I have not found one yet that didn't, but it's a real natural looking minnow for a good presentation. And what you do, so I'm throwing into about 15 feet of water right now. I'm gonna let it sink. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then I'm gonna tighten the line up and keep the tip of my rod up and bring it back to me. And then what I'm gonna do is just let it fall down 1.5 feet, 2 feet on its own, and then tighten it again. Real slow retrieve. And if they hit it on a tension line, you're going to feel a quick thump. You hear the crappie fishermen talk about the thump. Boom, right there. That was the thump. But if they're being a little fussy, and they don't seem to be today, what you want to do is you keep dropping it, because when that line goes slack, they'll hit it on the fall. That's a pretty common way to catch them. In fact, 4 or 5 of those fish that I've already caught there, I never felt them hit. I just saw the line swimming sideways, and you tighten the line up and you cross their eyes with your hook set. So. That's a little better fish. Talking probably 11 or so inches. Throw them in there, and crappie are one of those things that it's pretty hard for me to throw back in the water. I will say that. They're such good eating. And groceries ain't getting cheaper. I don't know if y'all noticed that. Alright, we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to give her a cast in there, just off the edge of that tree trunk, because the top lays a little further down. We're going to let it fall 7 or 8 feet and then pick the tip up and just real easy start easing it back to us. Let it fall back a little bit. Ease it back. There's one. It's a little guy, but that's what happened. You got to catch a few of them. I will say, Smith Mountain Lake is not known for crappie. And we'd kind of like to keep it that way. Don't tell a crappie that, but it's not known for them. But the ones you catch here, there is an awful lot of really nice fish. There's a lot of crappie fisheries where you can go and you can catch an awful lot of 6 and 7 and 8 inch fish to get to 1, 12 or 13 or 14. Here the rule seems to be they're 12, 13, 14. There's just a lot of really nice sized fish here, which is an awesome problem to have. We change spots a little bit here. Oh, here's a cool one. I love catching these. Some people call them magnolias, some people call them black nose. There's a lot of arguments about why they get like this. The biologists say it's a recessive gene, everybody else has their opinion. I don't really care. Look at this. Look at that fish right there. Look at the black spot that goes right down his nose. And the cool thing is it goes right down his lips. Look at his lips there. And all the way around the bottom. They're just a pretty fish. That's one thing, you can't say that crappie are ugly. I'll put it back in. We're in a spot here. It's kind of a funny spot. It's a little mud flat. It's about 10 feet deep, 8 to 10 feet deep. And there's the hull of a boat, a sunk boat up here. Sometimes you'll find them right on the structure, but what makes this spot a little bit unique is up in front, on the upstream side of the wreck, there's a little hole, just a little depression. And for some reason that collects fish all over the place. They just like to sit there, probably looking for bait coming off of the wreck or whatever. It's a nice spot for them to ambush, but it's funny, you'll see a whole school of crappie kind of stacked up on that one little spot. There's no structure anywhere around it. It's just one of those spots I kind of happened into one day and said, boy, that looks like a school of crappie, and set up on it and caught a whole bunch of them. And ever since then, I'm usually able to find them there. Those of you that fish this part of the river will know right where this is. It's not exactly a secret spot, but there'll probably be 20 boats anchored up here next time I'm here. Yeah, probably not. Yeah, got a little bluegill there. Sometimes with these small baits, I'm fishing a little white grub here. Sometimes the bluegills will get into them. They're in the spawn right now, so they're pretty aggressive, and pretty much all the ones you catch are going to be bulls that are guarding their nests. And they're super aggressive. They'll pick anything up that comes near their nest and try to get it off the nest. It's a good time to come out and catch a mess of bluegills, but crappie fishing has been so good, and they're such a nice fish. They're so much bigger that I haven't been doing as much bluegill fishing. Here's a tip. I'm switching back to one of these gulp bait minnows here. If you fish these and you notice they're real soft, they're getting torn up by fish bites or anything like that, one of the things you can do is just take them out of the package, leave them out in the sun for a couple of minutes. They get a little more rubbery and hard then, and they tend to hold up a little bit better once they're like that. For some reason, if they're real fresh when they come out of the package and real supple like that, the rubber's real soft on them and they just kind of bust up on you, I've noticed. But once they get a little older and dry out a little bit, they tend to stay together a little more. They didn't used to be like that. They used to come out of the package nice. There's a good crappie. That's a real good one right there. Well, maybe not as good as I thought. He'll do though. There's one. I don't think he's a monster, but he's not bad. He isn't too bad. Yeah, it's actually a pretty good one. Yep. I have got a pair of forceps somewhere in this boat. Where? I know not. Forceps are the one piece of gear that I do not seem to be able to consistently locate in my boat. Take another cast back in there and see if we can come up with another one. The wind laid down for a few minutes and it's picked back up now. It was kind of nice when it was quieting off there. Give her a slow retrieve. You always want to keep that tip of your rod up. If the tip's up, you can feel the hit or you can see the line go tight. Get that little thump. Or you can hook whatever's on the bottom, like I just did. We're at another spot up on the river here, not too far up from where we were. We're gonna fish the channel right up to the shore. That channel lays, and it comes into about, oh, I don't know, 15-20 foot of water. We're sitting right now in 16 foot of water. But there's another treetop out here you'll see. The tree kind of fell and lays in, and that treetop actually snagged some other drifts. When it really rains, this river can get up quite a lot. In this section especially, it really gets it'll flood sometimes. But there was another treetop floating down that kind of got hung in the one that was on the bottom. And it makes a nice little brush pile here to catch a few on. So we're going to rig up with a chunk of a gulp bait that I trimmed. Let's see if we can't find a few more in here. I have one there. Not bad. Yeah, coming up with a pretty good pile of them. There. Enough for a good meal. But more importantly, we're out on the water and we're having fun. I don't know how it gets much better than this. Nice day today, boy. It's probably not much over 80. So it's not blazing hot out here. We got a nice breeze. Not a bad way to spend an afternoon. I think I'm gonna wrap it up here pretty quick though. I promised my wife I'd just be a few hours, and she knows me well enough to expect that I'll probably be out until 8 or 9 o'clock, but even so, we're going to try to go home and make good on that. So see if we can put another 1 or 2 in the boat, because you know the last cast is never really the last cast. Well, that's all for today, folks. That's all the time we have. Got into some pretty good crappie. Had a lot of fun doing it. It was just a beautiful day to be on the water. So I'd like to encourage you, if you get a chance to do it, get out there and catch a few fish. Get out in the water, get out in the woods, do what you like to do. Use some of what we have around us. Tremendous amount of resources at our disposal. Whatever part of the country you live in, whatever state you live in, I'm sure that you can find some of this near you. Again, I live within the city limits. I live in Southwest Virginia, and all you got to do is find a few of those places that are close to you that have some of these resources to take advantage of, and do it. So get out there, have some fun, and do it. Hey, I look forward to spending a little time with you doing this again soon. Come along and learn some stuff with me as I learn. Watch me make mistakes and do dumb stuff, and happen into a fish or two, or some animals sooner or later. So hey, thanks for joining us. If you like this, like it. Like the video, subscribe. It would help me out. It would help me to know that this is worth doing again. Hey, thanks, and have a great day.